Dark Side of the Mic podcast. Today I'm here with Tracy Rodriguez. What's going on?
What's going on?
We're over here at your book signing.
Yes.
This is actually my first book signing that I've ever been to. Looking forward to it. Just getting started here in a little bit for your new book that has just got released.
Yes.
That is called Unfinished Business. So what is the book about? I'm sorry, I haven't even read the first one.
It's okay.
I was trying to get around to it, but I've been a little busy. But regardless,
No, it's fine. Okay, so First Half Truths came out in 2020 during the pandemic. And that book basically is about two brothers. One brother is passing away. He's in a coma. And the other brother who's coming home is holding his secret. So when he gets back, his family's pretty shocked to find out he has a family of his own. So he has a wife and he has a newborn baby. And throughout the book, you get to meet Julian, who's passing away in the coma. You meet his wife, and she finds out that her husband's been having an affair. And she doesn't, it's all coming to light because he's been in a car accident. And she got a hold of his cell phone. And, of course, when they get a hold of your cell phone, every woman will go through it, right?
Yeah, game over.
And you'll do anything and everything you can to open that phone. And so that's what she does. And she finds out that she doesn't know her husband like she thought she did because she doesn't know his passwords.
Yeah.
So every woman should be able to at least guess your password.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I just think of always some like random ass shit. I'm like,
So
water on Mars 44 or something.
Okay,
shit.
so
Yeah.
like your wife wouldn't be able to guess
No,
not one
pretty
of your
sure-
passwords.
If I was
not
in a
one.
coma, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, like if that's what you're going to sit there and do. You got all day. You're going to sit there and figure out what this password is. So that's her issue, and she starts looking into the phone, and every time she comes across something like his gallery, there's another password.
Oh, okay.
His text messages, there's another lock.
Yeah, it's like
Like,
layers
why?
of protection.
Yeah, like,
so he
why?
was obviously up to something.
Why are you so secretive? Well, in the end, she finds out there was somebody else, and not just somebody else. There was also a child involved, and the person who knows all about it is his brother. Of course, he came home for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't come home empty. He didn't come home alone. He came home with someone, and that someone was his brother's mistress.
Oh, damn.
And he brought
Okay.
her to tell him, of course, how is she going to walk in and be like, I want to say bye. So he brought her to say bye and for the baby to see his dad for one last time. But he ends up falling in love with his brother's mistress.
Damn. That reminds me of, I forgot the movie. I think it was about some brothers that were in the military. Or one of them was a brother. I think one of them was in the military. You know what I'm talking about? You know what it's called? Oh, okay. And so anyways, yeah, he comes home to like comfort his brother's wife because his brother passed away, and then he ends up like falling in love with her and shit like
I
that.
think I know what you're speaking of, yes.
But that's cool. What was the how did you think of any
the storyline?
Yeah.
I was bored one day at work sitting in the back, and I had read a book, and I looked into it, and I was like, who wrote this? Because clearly it was boring, and I bought it.
Do you read a lot of books?
I read a lot.
Okay.
I'm a big reader, and so when I read that one book, I just thought I can do better. And I just took to writing, and the storyline presented itself, and it was very easy. That book was finished within less than 3 months.
Damn. Okay.
So.
I've heard that the writing process for writing a book can be like grueling sometimes. Is there do you just write like a draft and then like you're like boom, here it is, or do you get like hey from the publisher or whatever, like hey, you need to go back and revise this or anything like that?
So I'm not a writer. I just took to writing, and it came easily. I grabbed a notebook, and I sat there, and the first thing I thought was, what's the storyline, and where is it going to start, and where is it going to end?
Oh, okay.
And so that was my thought process.
And you just fill in the blanks.
And I was filling in the blanks as the chapters went along, and then you got to remember your characters. There's so many, and then you have to remember like their birthday, their names, and you have to make these real people because you're going to write about them, and you can't get it confused because there'll be readers who'll be like, wait, that doesn't make sense when you go back. So you have to make sure everything adds up.
Yeah, people are always real critical, especially with plots and storylines, you know, because they'll dissect it and stuff. Down. Was there like a number, like, oh, I want this to be like so many pages or so many words, or
No, not on book one. Book one was just writing, and whatever it came out to be, that's what it was.
Okay.
And so that one, like I said, was easy. It was more of book two that was after hearing about book one and people who had comments on book one about, I wish it was longer, made me push book two to be longer.
Did you do you pay attention to that, like the feedback that you get, whether it be like criticism or
Yes.
positive? Do you take all of that from book one and put it into book two?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I had a lot of feedback on book one. And for the most part, it was all like, that was very interesting. Plus, I think everybody was more into book one because they wanted to know who she was. So on book one's dedication, it says to her, the person I wanted to be, the person I used to be, and the person I plan to become with love. If this book crosses your path and you ever recognize yourself, we await your truth. So everybody's wondering who her is. And like I said, if she ever notices herself in the book, well, we await your truth because it's only half.
Oh, okay. Damn, comes around full circle.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I think that's why everybody is like, is she real? Well, do you see yourself in her, or has she found her yet in the book? And if she does, then we'll know the rest of the truth because we only know so much. And so book two goes into unfinished business because basically at the end of book one, she finds out that the mistress has been there all along. She finds out the mistress and the baby have been there, and she was there with them the whole time, and she didn't notice.
Wow.
So you find out what book two is gonna bring, you
Yeah.
know, and how she's gonna deal with it.
So it's like a continuation,
Yes,
obviously.
it's a continuation to book one.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So book two, what does like the first one end like on a little cliffhanger,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
and that's another thing. My readers, I had a lot of people write me and just call me and tell me what's going to happen. And I'm like, well, you don't know the author, so stay tuned. But yeah, I was excited that everybody was excited to know there was more. They wanted more. And so in book two, I added more and just gave them what they were looking for, a longer book, more to it, and hopefully they enjoy it. And I left room to write book three, if anything. And everybody's like, so there will be a book three? Every author leaves room for more.
Yeah. You're like, I don't know, buy book two and we'll see.
Yeah.
You're like, just buy
It's
it.
a wait and see type of situation.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's anybody who's read book one and following into book two, we're still looking for her. And I hope we get the full book one day.
There you go. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So how is are you surprised by like the number of people that like as far as like people that want to read and people that have read it and stuff?
I was. So the thing with book one and book two is that the publisher shows you where your books have sold. And I was surprised to see that Great Britain had the most sales at the beginning of book one.
Really?
Yes. And I was like, wow, who read my book in Great Britain? And that's just awesome as somebody who's not a writer and just new to it. It's a great experience. It feels great to know somebody's read your book and to know that over 200 people have read the first book, because that's how many books I've sold.
Damn, that's pretty good.
So it's six, yeah.
What goes on behind like finding a publisher, or like and getting the book distributed and all of that?
Okay, so that's gonna be my husband Alex. He's the reason we're here, that the book got published. Like I said, the book only took 3 months to write, but it sat for 5 years. And one day while we were cleaning out our room, he found my book of bags, and it was full of my notebooks of where I wrote this book at. And he said, "What are you doing with this?" And I said, "You can throw it away. I wrote a book." He said, "You wrote a book and you're going to throw it away?" And I said, "Yeah, trash it. I already read it." And he said, "If I take it and do something with it, are you okay with that?" And I said, "Yeah, that's fine. If you think you can, if you think it's anything." And sure enough, I was on my way to Georgia one day and I got a call from him and he said, "I got your book published." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yes, and when you get back, they just need you to finish off the final touches and stuff." And on my way to Georgia, me and him are discussing like the whole book agreement and term, and I'm just kind of like, I I don't know what you're talking about, but when I get back, we'll figure this out. And so I come back and I see that it was true that he found a publisher and they said yes to it. And so he took care of the whole process of getting it published and making it what it is. All I did was put my name on it, and he even did the first cover. He's
Nice.
responsible for the first cover.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so he did all the publishing, and then from there I just stayed with that publisher, and they've accepted book 2, and they have me currently working on book 3.
Was it like a good feeling, like, like, oh, like a publishing company like read this and likes it and wants to put it out there? Was it surprising?
It was very surprising, and like I said, it's surprising to know there's so many readers, that there's the book sold over so many books. Like I wasn't expecting that. I hear people who like my family, and I'm like, don't lie and tell me it's good, and then just to be my family, I'm like, just really tell me. And my sister was one of them who was like, no, it was really good. I'm waiting for the second one. Co-workers, they're very supportive. They've read it, they give me their feedback, and they've helped with book 2 to become what it is.
Have you got any negative feedback?
Yes, my other sister, Brenda. I'm going to put Brenda Ibarra on blast. But she's real critical about spelling and making sense of it. And I was like, that's fine. I understand that. And as a book, you want those things to be done correctly. But I didn't type up the first book. My husband did, and he was going off of what he was reading from my writings, and she was like, well, I don't like this and I don't like that, and I'm like, that's fine, it's just not meant for you then, but that's okay, because we're gonna get people like her who have a lot to say, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take both of them.
A lot of people can't take constructive criticism, just like, oh, well, I don't like this. But it's good to have those people around you, because not everyone's going to agree with not everyone's going to be on the same page,
And it might not be their type of book.
Yeah.
It's a drama. It's more of a drama, family, Mexican drama. It's more of what you see on a Mexican family every day. Like, there's talk about our religion, there's talk about food that we eat. There's a family living together in one big house, and everybody's like, all these people live under one roof. Unfortunately, that's how that works.
Yeah.
And that's just your everyday Mexican family.
Yeah.
And I wanted to share, like, what I feel, what I see, and be real to what's being said in the book.
Was that important for you to, like, incorporate that into the storyline and all that?
Yes. Yeah. And it also has, it's also in Spanish. It's mixed.
Oh, okay.
So you have some Spanish language in there that it's speaking in. And that's another thing. That's any Mexican household. You hear people talking English, and then you hear the mom or grandma talking Spanish, and that's just what you get.
Yeah.
So that's in there.
Yeah, when I was growing up, the only reason that I know Spanish is because my grandma spoke nothing but Spanish, And she was an old school grandma who would, like, take care of the house, cook every day for all of her sons who are now, like, 40-something years old and still come over. So that's the only reason, because she would talk to me, tell me stuff, and eventually I'm like, I think she wants me to go clean up, or I think she wants me to go, wipe my ass or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
you end up getting it. Yeah.
So that's how, I learned Spanish. And a lot of kids, like, growing up these days don't really know, like, Spanish and stuff, but we try to, like, incorporate, speaking, like, not all the time, but, it would be cool, I guess, to have, like, Spanish days, like, hey, today when I wake up, I'm talking nothing but Spanish from now on,
And that's how they're going to learn. Also, I feel Mexican music is another way they learn. I remember growing up and just listening to Mexican music, and then you just catching on to what's going on, and like what they're saying. And so you have to include that. And so I included that in the book just because it was part of what I had growing up.
Yeah.
Just like I said, just Mexican food, tortillas, mole, just our culture and food-wise. So there's a lot of that.
For sure.
In there.
Going forward, do you see yourselves, like, branching off, writing other stories, or, like, getting into, being a writer?
I wouldn't call myself a writer. It's like a hobby I'm doing that's going well. But yes, book 3 is not connected to these first 2 books. It's actually a different story, different characters. And characters, you want everybody to be different because everybody has their own personality. So finding characters for these last 2 books, I had to really, like, get into it and feel it.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah. You said twice already, I'm not a writer.
yeah.
And you said it strongly. Why is that?
I'm just telling stories.
Oh, okay.
That's it. But book 3, like I said, is just on its way. It's going to be out here soon too, and it's not the same storyline, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, so you got it. You got it already. Like,
It's in progress,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
So it's almost done, and that hopefully that will be out by early next year.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. I know the next step would probably be audio,
Yeah.
because not a lot of people are readers.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Sure, I'm
just
one of 'em.
listening.
Yeah, it's kind of easier to, like with my job, I'm able to like listen to music or mainly listen to podcasts. And so yeah, it's pretty cool to, some of my buddies sent me some books, and I'm like, I can listen to them while I'm working.
Yeah.
Although I feel like you don't get that same like, like having a physical book in your hand and reading. I feel like it's good for your brain and all that stuff.
Yeah, so audio would be hopefully next, and actually, Netflix has said that if I can put it into a manuscript, then the next step would be a movie.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of process to it, but it's worth looking into, and it's worth going through. Getting it into Netflix would be a lot of details.
Yeah.
You have to see the picture. They have to be able to see it. They have to be able to put things together. So after audio, hopefully Netflix, and just see where they go. Who knows? The good thing about these books is that they've been written, they're there. I have my royalties to them because my publisher let me keep my royalties. So anything I do sell, I do receive an income for. And in the long run, if they do choose to get picked up for anything, as in a movie, a script, for anything, those royalties will belong to me. And even if it's 20 years from now, my kids will own those royalties.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
So,
And investing in yourself.
yes, well, for my kids,
Yeah.
so they're probably embarrassed right now and they say my mom wrote a book, but
Really? You think so?
yeah, my oldest she was like, this is embarrassing. She
Oh,
was
wow.
so embarrassed to tell her teacher, and she said, I read a part of it and it said the Valero, and I just threw it. My
Got rid of
goodness.
it.
Yeah, to them it's embarrassing, and but for the most part they know like that I'm doing something, and that's one thing I do want to teach them, is just that anything and everything is possible. I never thought I was going to write 2 books, 1 book, let alone 2. I'm working on my 3rd one. I never thought this.
Yeah.
And look where we are today. So I just want to show them that you can do anything. Really, you really can.
There you go. Leading by example.
Yes.
Tracy the writer.
If you say so.
All right. Well,
But thank you for having me.
yeah, for sure. I'm going to let you, get over here to sign in some books. We got some people over here waiting to
Great.
talk and all of that stuff. But thank you for inviting me over here.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for coming on the
coming
show,
out.
and I'm looking forward to reading both of them.
Hopefully.
For sure. Yeah.
If not, it's okay. I'll give you a full rundown.
All right. You got some on hand today, or?
Yes, we do have
Okay.
books on hand today.
Awesome.
That will
You
be.
got some money?
Alrighty.
All right.
Thank you,
Yeah.
James.
Thank you again.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, and where can people find the books?
Okay, so the first book is on Amazon and any bookstore online.
Okay.
So that could be, there's many. If you just go to Google and search Half Truths by Tracy Rodriguez, it'll pop up and it'll tell you where you can buy the books from. And then the second book won't be out until next month. So basically these are our releases here, and then online they go. Next
Awesome.
month they'll be online for purchase.
Okay.
So that's what it is.
Sounds
and
good.
if she recognizes herself, if she wants to come forward, we're all waiting.
There you go. All right. Thank you, Tracy.